Welcome to the deck tech for Yoshimaru, Thrasios in CEDH. I am showing you my version, which has a ton of altars and sign cards. I have all the altars in my deck made by me, Hummingbird, but also the only altar that's not mine is this Thrasios made by MIB over an etched foil. I mean, just flawless, perfect. Why we're running Yoshimaru is going to be shown in this whole tutorial. I'm going to show off all the combo lines and fun ways to play this deck, and what makes my deck a little different than all the other Yoshimaru Thrasios out there. I am running a more Intuition Gifts Ungiven package. I really think that these cards are incredibly powerful, and in this deck you can see that we have Sevin's Reclamation, and we're also running Eternal Witness. These cards, these two right here, allow us to get a lot back from the graveyard and make your intuition piles kind of an inevitability. Whatever you're going to pick, I'm going to go forth with my combo. The normal combo that I'm going for with these is going to be a Devoted Druid Swift Reconfiguration. In any Thrasios deck, you are going to be going for infinite mana, so this does that very well. With Devoted Druid Swift Reconfiguration, obviously with Intuition, boom, you put these three together. That's pretty good. People will give you the Devoted Druid, and now you have a Sevin's Reclamation to get back Swift Reconfiguration, and maybe one other card, like a Grand Abolisher, something crazy. That being said, if you do a Gifts with all of this, you can definitely pick something like the Grand Abolisher. And if you pick something that is a great way to stop your opponents, then what are they going to do? They are going to give you... What are they going to give you? They're going to give you maybe the Grand Abolisher and the Sevin's. You're like, okay. So, yes, it's very mana intensive, but because we're in a Cradle deck, we're going to get there really easily. If they give you... they can give you Swift and Devoted thinking that they're going to counter you, and you lead off by doing the Sevin's Reclamation. They can give you just the Swift Recon and the Sevin's. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, they're giving you something really, really hard to deal with. And if they give you something that you can deal with, the game's over. We are also going to be on Machine God's Effigy. Machine God's Effigy is a great card for Devoted Druid. Obviously, these two together are going to win you the game. It's going to make you infinite green and blue mana. However, if you just have Machine God's Effigy in your hand, you are going to make a lot of good decisions. We call it the final Bowmaster. If you Machine Gods anything that has that kind of synergy, Seedborn Muse, you are going to win the race way faster than anybody else. We also have a Snap and Eternal Witness. Now, Snap and Eternal Witness need a card called Gaia's Cradle, and Gaia's Cradle needs to be at 6 to make infinite green mana and then infinite mana of all colors. And Evendo, Waking Haven, which admittedly, you can see this is not foiled out or blinged out or altered because I am still testing it. I don't know if it's a good card, but it seems good because Yoshimaru can become really big really fast. So Evendo will be able to be crewed extremely fast. But with Eternal Witness and Snap, if this is making 6 or this is making 7, you can go through your loop and make infinite mana of all colors. Granted, you are proccing Rhystic Study over and over again, but nothing's perfect in this beautiful game that we play. We also are playing a Finale of Devastation as the win con on your turn. Faerie Mastermind to win when you're not able to go to combat. If you make infinite mana of all colors with Faerie Mastermind, you can then play a Green Sun Zenith, and Green Sun Zenith is then going to shuffle into your deck, and that'll be the one card that you draw is Green Sun Zenith. If you need instant speed for the Green Sun Zenith, you definitely have our beautiful Emergent Zone. If it comes into play tapped, you have cards like Derevi to untap it that you can go and get as you're drawing your entire deck. And then you also have Crop Rotation to go get it and put it directly into play if you've already hit your land drop. And then if you get it over with your Thrasios activation, the Derevi can just untap untap your emergent zone, and then you can go from there and win. Faerie Mastermind's a great way to win. I win with Faerie Mastermind more than I win with anything else. It just feels correct. You know what I mean? All right. Moving right along, of course, we have Obero Breeze Caller and Talon Gates. I actually love this altar of Talon Gates. It looks the way Talon Gates should look, in my opinion, with like that little extra lightning up in there. With Gaia's Cradle is a sweet, sweet little combo. As long as the cradle count is, I believe, seven, you can win that way with Talon Gates and Gaia's Cradle. Or is it 6? Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. I always get that one wrong. I have to count it out in my head as I'm playing sometimes. We have because we're playing Bant, which I love this color combination, we get access to another way to win that like Rogthras or Tymnathras really doesn't play that much. Tymna might. But we get Smothering Tide, Training Grounds, and Faerie Mastermind. We're also playing the Biomancer's Familiar in all of this. With those, you're able to generate 1 extra treasure every time you activate Faerie Mastermind, because Faerie Mastermind only costs 2 to activate, and you're getting 3 back from players that are available and alive. So you go through, you gain not infinite mana, but you are drawing enough that you get everyone down to drawing like their last card. And then when it comes down to you drawing your last card, you're then going to play Green Sun Zenith for 0 over and over again. And you are going to be well ahead of everybody. I love this combo. It's instant speed as well, so if you have these 2 out, instant speed, say you draw a Faerie Mastermind, you can slam your Faerie Mastermind and win at instant speed. As long as you can find a crop rotation, which you will with Faerie Mastermind, and be able to put an emergent zone into the graveyard. Or I'm sorry, into your battlefield. We also are running... I'm an old Nadu head, so again, if you're fans of Nadu, this is a deck that will scratch that itch. You're running Springheart Nantuko, you have Derevi, you have a Cloud of Fairies. If you're running these little guys, and you also have a Gaia's Cradle or Avando, something similar to a Gaia's Cradle, you can attach Springheart Nantuko to either Cloud of Fairies or to Derevi. When you have a card enter the battlefield through a Thrasios activation, any land that enters the battlefield will trigger making a copy of Cloud of Fairies if you pay 2. So you pay 2, that will create another Cloud of Fairies, that'll untap a Gaia's Cradle and another card, and you just keep untapping and going and activating Thrasios. Once you get to a certain point, it becomes inevitable. To the lesser extent, you can do it with Derevis, but Derevis you have to sack the token to untap just 1 land. Cloud of Fairies feels so much better because you keep the token, so your Gaia's Cradle count goes up, and you untap 2 lands, so you can make mana of all colors, not just green. But it's a great way to go through your deck with Springheart Nantuko and Derevi to go through your deck and make sure that you find something real fun, real potent, and once you find, say, a Finale Devastation, then you win. We have a lot of cards that are really fun to play because you're in this strategy of playing a lot of lands. We play Earthcraft. We play Earthcraft with only 1 land, which is an island. There's no good way to go find the island other than fetching for it often and fetching for it early. I try really hard to, once my lands look pretty good, look for a basic island. We want blue mana anyway. I also run a Path to Exile. I play a lot of instant speed removal in this deck, counter spells and targeted removal, because I think the meta right now is all about creatures. So I am running a Path to Exile as one of my package of just taking people off their creatures, but also if I need to Path to Exile one of my own creatures to get a tapped island and then make Earthcraft great again, that's exactly where I want to be. Something that, again, Rogthras can't do. I love harping on them, so just let me do it. There's a couple experimental slots that I have here. They're not that crazy, but, people are kind of iffy on them. But one thing that I'm not iffy on is Abhorrent Oculus. If you don't know this card, it's a 5/5 for 3. Whenever I cast it, I have to exile 6 cards from my graveyard. But I'm never really casting it. Sometimes I do, but a lot of times I'm just neoforming for it, Eldritch Evolution for it, Wargate for it. You got Core to Calling. You have so many things that lets you go get it. Nature's Rhythm is a big one as well. Do Nature's Rhythm for the Abhorrent Oculus. This goes in your graveyard. Now you have a 5/5. And the 5/5 can harmonize very, very well. This card also says at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, I get to manifest Dread. So, being a Cradle deck, trying to get my Cradle count high, this is my Chatterstorm. I know that, Chatterstorm is 1 less mana. This is going to make more bodies, and also then I can start beating people up. I played a Timna Dargo player in top 4 and just beat them to death with an Abhorrent Oculus and like 8 little eyeballs. Nature's Rhythm also, if you hit anything off of Abhorrent Oculus, things go into the graveyard. Things that we want to go into the graveyard, be it a Sevin's Reclamation or a Snap, so we can eventually win with an Eternal Witness, is fantastic. But also, Morph has a great ability of not being countered or even using the stack. So, cards like Voice of Victory, cards like Grand Abolisher, cards like... Oh, now I can't find the cards I'm trying to be like. Cards like Seedborn Muse, Ranger Captain Vios, Cutzel. Those things are uncounterable. Don't use the stack. Come into play. They turn from a 2/2 and you flip it right up into one of these little guys. So flipping right over into a Seedborn Muse at instant speed because I found my Seedborn Muse on your upkeep is insane. Same thing with a Ranger Captain. I could flip open a Ranger Captain, pop it, and stop you from winning. These things are amazing with the Abhorrent Oculus, and something that is why we run Abhorrent Oculus as a white deck versus anyone else that runs any other cards. With your Cradle, we're going to run your Deserted Temple, Minamo. These are great cards. These are cards that everyone runs if you're running a Cradle strategy, and I think they're do not leave home without them. Deserted Temple doesn't really hurt being a colorless. A good reason for running Yoshimaru, other than being a 1 mana, turning on all your free spells and making your Beseiju cheaper in the first little bits, we run a card called Nature's Chosen. Nature's Chosen is very special, very good, and I think the number one reason not to run Rockdrass and run our version. Nature's Chosen says, so 1 mana enchant creature. The enchantment has 0 untapped target creature. Do this only once on your turn and only once on the rotation. And then 0 tap an enchanted creature. And then that creature gets to untap a target creature, land, or artifact. You'd only do that once a turn and only if it's white. So your Yoshimaru turns into a Cradle untapper, turns into a Mana Vault untapper, turns into a Soul Ring untapper, turns into any land, any creature untapper. Unbelievable. So strong. If you get a Yoshimaru with a Nature's Chosen on it, you are miles ahead of everyone on mana and options, to be honest. This also says untap target artifact, creature, or land. So, politicking, someone says, oh, I can counter this spell, but I just need 1 more mana. Cool, done. My dog will give you that mana. And then they remember that. You make a deal, whatever you want to do. It's a great little politicking piece. Love Nature's Chosen. Love Nature's Chosen. A couple cards that are kind of unique to this deck that you're not going to be able to run anywhere is a Will of the Mardu. Will of the Mardu, obviously I altered the heck out of it, but Will of the Mardu says that if you control your commander, you can do both these things, which at all times we control our commander or both our commanders. Create a number of 1/1 red warrior creature tokens equal to the number of creatures target player controls. So it's going to make a million 1/1s. Like literally it makes like 7, 8, 9 a game. So I double my creature count, or I look over at the person who just Chatterstormed and I Chatterstorm better than them. I make that many red warrior tokens, and I get to deal damage to target creature equal to the number of creatures I control. So I double my creature count, and then I blast something. I lightning bolt them for a bunch. I mean, VV never sees it coming. It's a great way to deal with everything. Literally everything. Kill a Tymna, make Tymna blockers. It's whatever you want to do. You can make Tymna blockers for yourself, kill the Tymna, then kill something else. It's so good. You get to run Aven Mind Sensor, which is one of my favorite cards ever. No one sees it coming because you're not in black, so people will say out loud in a Sisay deck, oh, if I activate Sisay one more time, I win. And everyone goes, all right. And he goes, cool, activate Sisay. Boom, Aven Mind Sensor, whatever you want to do. CEDH is all about searching your deck right now, and we need to stop that. Cannot happen anymore. I think that people who just pack their decks full of like a million tutors don't deserve the win. That's my opinion. If you're just searching for it, it's not like you're playing Singleton. Anyway, we get to play. I run a more control version, so I'm running Trouble in Pairs. I'm running Spell Snare. I'm running Flare of Denial. These cards are going to give you a little bit more of a control-y edge than the normal package of just going Cradle crazy. I'm also running Louis Suarez Sacrifice, which has been a mainstay for everyone I know, but it's just, I was on it early and I love it so much. I have a interesting kind of package at 2 mana because we run a kind of pod style deck. If you pod for 2, like you neoform your Yoshimaru or your Court of Calling for 2, people they assume you're going to go for a Phantasmal Image, which is fine. I might go for a Phantasmal Image. That might work really well, and people kind of let it go. However, we do run 1 Gilded Drake. I'd like Gilded over Voltaic, or what's the other Drake? Voltaic Drake? Volatile Drake? Volatile Drake. Over Volatile Drake, I feel like Volatile Drake is fine, but there's nothing I really want to kill. What I do want to do is steal a Consecrated Sphinx or steal a Seaborn Muse, and Volatile Storm Drake cannot do that, so I love both of these cards. They're both really, really good. Phantasmal Image, your own stuff. Gilded Drake, other people's stuff. It works really well. I'm running Carpet of Flowers. That's a maybe. When it works, it works. When it doesn't, it doesn't. But when it works, it's so good. It's a mana rock for 1 that fixes your mana completely and gives you a boost of 2 or 3 mana on your main phase. I mean, it gives you explosive main phases and literally just dumps your hand out. Running, obviously, Sylvan Scrying. I'm not on the map. I think that this card is just better. Pitches to Chromox, good stuff. We run Shifting Woodlands as like a very crazy way to win the game once the game is over. And then you run Mockingbird, obviously, because it's so good with, I'm going to show that altar off a little bit more. It's so good with your Ranger Captain. And here's my flex spot, the Cabbage Merchant. Let's talk about it for a second. I could be wrong, but I wasn't wrong with the One Ring right before it came out. I called it as a staple in every deck. I'm not running it in this deck, but it is a staple in every deck. You can't tell me it's not a staple in every deck. I think the Cabbage Merchant is going to do so much work, especially in a deck that's trying to do so much on the stack. I'm trying to untap with Nature's Chosen and Seaborn Muse and interact on the stack, and this is kind of another way of doing this. It's also legendary, so it pumps the dog, and then it's also, 2/2, body, cradle, cabbage. I feel like very little people are gonna blow up your Cabbage Merchant unless they're just running away with the game and have nothing to do with their Bowmasters, and if that happens, you're kind of out anyway. I have the normal stuff you'd see in CEDH. These cards should come at no surprise, to be honest. I'm just showing them off because I have extremely pretty versions of them. I try to have foil sign stuff, a little bit of a, way to feel like this deck is my deck. This deck is very unique, and kind of just brag a little bit, have something to sell when I need money at some point in my life, which is every day of my life. I need money, more money. These are all basics, all like the staples. I mean, I alter some of them, the Mind Break, the Pack Negation. I'm actually going to do a full art Swan Song. It's going to be sick. But these things, you just kind of get the really cool version. I love foil retro frames. As you can tell, that's like my jam. Whenever there's foil retro frames, I try to get them, unless it's Therese Nielsen art, and then Therese Nielsen art always takes the cake, because, you know, she the goat. Got my Lotus Petal, Force, again, Therese Nielsen, Force of Will, and Birds of Paradise. The lands are very, very normal, be what you would see the one basic. I have all of my duels altered to match. This is my old signature, the mustache. A long time ago, I altered all the duels, so I kept a set for myself. And then you have the old retro foils, everything's retro foiled, because that just, it looks the best. Nothing looks better than these retro foils that are signed and near mint and ready to go. I mean, they look the best. If you don't think so, you are wrong. There's no argument. Of course, you have Otawara, you got Beseiju, you got your mana Confluence. The one card that everyone argues with me is a Forbidden Orchard, but to be honest, I need this land base to be perfect, because we are going with a early island, which should not hinder us. We hope it doesn't hinder us. And also, we are on Gaia's Cradle, Turbo Gaia's Cradle. So we're making a lot of green, but we need green early, and then we need to make a lot of blue and white. And I think Forbidden Orchard does everything. If I give you a 1-1 by accident, I don't think you're going to win the game. I think you're going to be very thankful. And also, I mean, Tymnas are everywhere. Block a Tymna. This is my deck. Thank you for watching this deck tech. I want to do more deck techs. Let me know what deck you want to see next. Maybe I'll talk about it. But this is mine. This is my beautiful deck. I love this deck so much that I actually created a Discord about it. So please come and find us on the Discord. And that will be a link in the description, along with my deck list. Thanks for coming and watching. See ya.